Okay, we are going to do linear quadratic equations. So, linear quadratic equations, we're going to be looking at systems that have a linear equation. So, like 4x minus 6 and a quadratic equation. X squared plus 4x minus 5. Okay? I just made those up. I don't even know if they touch. Whatever. I made those up. We want the solution to that system. So remember, we could graph them. And here's my linear. And here's my quadratic. And they could have two solutions, yes?
Yeah.
Or here's my linear and here's my quadratic.
And they can only have one.
They could have one solution. Or I forgot my arrows. Here's my quadratic. And here's my linear. And they could have what? No solution. Okay. Now, in this case, we could not have infinitely because linear is linear and quadratic is quadratic. And to be infinitely many, they have to be exactly the same, right? They'd have to fall on each other every place. And that's not going to happen. So,
what if the line was like perfect with the curve?
Then it wouldn't be linear.
Oh, yeah, because it can't be a line.
Yeah. So what we want to know is where these two things are what? Intersecting, or the equations are equal? Yeah? So the first thing, if I go off my paper, just say, hey, Mrs. Mick, you're off the paper. Okay, so the first one I'm going to have is y equals x squared and y equals 2x. Now, if I were going to write this on a test, I would probably write f of x. No, maybe not. I just won't go there. It's fine. Never mind. Okay, so I'm not going to graph them. You guys kind of stink at graphing them once in a while. So couldn't I just set them equal to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah? So they're both equal to y. So if they're both equal to y, they're equal to each other. That's how that works, right? The transitive property?
Yes.
So x squared equals 2x. Well, it's quadratic, so I have to set it equal to what? 0. So how do I move the 2x? Subtract it. So I have x squared minus 2x equals 0. And now I do what? It's quadratic. I factor. It's two terms. So do those two terms have something in common? X. And I'm left with x minus 2. And they both equal 0, yes? So x equals what and what? 2, because I would add a 2. And?
-1.
Nope.
0.
0. So 0 and 2. So those are the x's where they meet, but we all know that when we do where the solution, we have to write a what and what? X, y. So I have the x's. How am I going to find the y's? Plug it back in. Does it matter which one? No, because they're supposed to be equal, right? So if I plug in 0, where do you want to plug it into? The top or the bottom?
It doesn't
Either
matter.
way, what are you going to get?
0.
0. Did you say 4?
She went to 2. If you use the 2, you get a 4.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't care about the 0 one.
Okay, so one solution is 0, 0, and the other solution is going to be 2. So when I plug in 2, I get what? 4. So basically, after you set them equal to each other, is it what you've been doing?
Yes.
Yes. So if we can't factor, we have to use the what?
Quadratic equation.
The quadratic formula.
Ooh, can I use that on this, or is it going to make my life better?
You'll figure out when it makes your life horrible, and you won't want to do it anymore.
Wait, so how do you get 2, 4?
Because we plugged in 2 to either one, and 2 squared is 4, and 2 times 2 is 4.
Okay.
So is the y the 0, 0?
No, this is the x, this is the y. This is the x, this is the y.
But you said we need to find the y.
Now they're gonna throw a
There's
shift
two x's,
I know that.
so you plugged in one x and got out 0. You plugged in the other x and got out 4.
So we need to show like plugging it into.
Well, I don't care if you show it, but you got to give me your answer.
Example.
Okay. Next. Y equals 3x squared and y equals 3x minus 2. So, again, they're both equal to x. I mean to y, yes? So, am I ready to set them equal to each other?
Yeah.
They have to be set equal to the same thing before I can set them equal to each other. Did everyone hear me on that? Okay. So now I have 3x squared equals 3x minus 2. So what's next?
You
Add the 2 and subtract the 3x, or just subtract 3x squared.
You're setting it equal to 0, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to move everything that way. How about you guys?
Yes.
So you have 3x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Now, I've got a factor, so I say, oh, do they have anything in common? No. Shucks. Okay, so then 3 times 2 is 6. So do I have factors of 6 that add to 3? Add to 3.
No.
No. So I have to use what?
Quadratic form.
The quadratic formula. So then x would equal 3 plus or minus the square root of what? 9 minus 4 times 6 is 24. Is that okay if I'm skipping that stuff? You guys want me to go back and write it out?
No.
You're good?
That's how I do it.
Okay. And then all over 2a, so 2 times 3 is 6. I say the quadratic formula in my head every time I use it. Guys, if you don't, are you going to mess it up?
I got really good at it. I don't have to write it on
How do you
paper.
get
No,
the-
but you're saying it in your
Yeah.
head. What?
Is it the 24 like this?
That's negative 4ac.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So AC is 6 times 4 is negative 4. Okay, so it gives me 3 plus or minus. Well, what's 9 times 20? 9 minus 24.
It's negative 13.
It's negative 15.
Yeah.
So this negative is going to put a what in my answer? An I. So I'm going to have the square root of 15i over 6. Now, is that a real solution? No. So x equals, and this is not real, so my answer is no real solution. So if I were to graph these two, it would be something that looks, I don't know, like that, but they wouldn't touch, would they? So let me graph them.
So wait, we don't have to like reduce that down or anything like we did?
Well, 15 is 3 and 5, so there's nothing, you can't reduce it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the only thing you could do is you could write it as 1/2 plus or minus
Yeah,
the
that's
square
what
root
I
of.
meant. We don't
You
have to
probably
do
should
with
do
this.
that for good practice, but other than that, no.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
just wondering with our homework tonight if that's what you want us to do.
Okay, so there's what happens with those two.
They
They
know.
just go right past.
They go right past each other, so they don't touch. So that's why there's no real solution. Ready for another one? Okay.
I'm scared it's gonna start getting hard.
Well, this one's gonna be a little bit different.
Oh man.
So I've got y
Okay.
equals 3x squared plus 3x minus 15. Or 15/5, sorry. And 2x minus y equals 3.
Oh, I know how to do this.
Okay.
So, Kula, what do I gotta do?
Okay, so you gotta make it equal to y. So you move your y over, you change your y into 3 around.
Oh, so you're talking about the second equation, right?
Yeah, second.
Does everyone see that? All you have to do is solve them for y, don't you? So he wants to subtract the 3 and add the y. Are you good with that?
Mm-hmm.
So you would have y equals 2x minus 3.
Yeah.
So now are they both equal to y now?
Yep.
So I set them equal to what?
Each other.
Each other. Good job, Cole. And I'll give you guys a minute.
And
What?
after that,
Mm-hmm.
Can't you combine the two?
Well, you have to move them.
would you add 3?
Traded.
Yep, subtract 2x and add 3.
Yeah. I missed you.
Okay, shh. And then you do what?
Well, there's 3 and negative 2, so you do 3 times negative 2.
Mm-hmm, so you're factoring.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6.
it's 3 and negative 2.
So it'd be 3 and negative 2. So that would be what? 3x and x, right? And negative 2 and positive 1. Wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Set them both equal to
0.
0. So you get x equals what and what?
3x equals negative 2.
Mm-mm.
2 and negative 1.
This would be 3x equals 2. So x equals 2/3
1.
and
Negative 1.
negative 1. So negative 1 and 2/3. But I have x's now. I need to find the what?
Y's.
The y's. Now, do you want to plug them in the quadratic or do you want to plug them in the linear?
And the
Linear.
In the linear. Duh, right? Okay, so I'm going to put negative 1. So when I plug negative 1 in here, I get what? Negative 2 minus 3?
Yeah.
So that's negative 5. Right? And then I have to plug 2/3. I'm going to put it over here. So 2 times 2/3 minus 3. So this would be 4/3, correct? So I have to have common denominator. So the 3 would be what?
3 over 3.
It'd be 3 over 1.
Well, yeah.
So it'd be what over what?
9 over 3.
9 over 3. So I'm going to have 2/3, comma what?
negative 5/3.
Negative 5/3. And yes, Jaden, you're friends. Fractions are our friends. And factoring is fun, and you get them both in one lesson. Amazing. Merry Christmas.
Well, I ain't doing this assignment now. It's easy.
It's
It is.
okay. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
it going to get any harder?
The only thing that can get harder is you have to set them equal to y, right? I mean, that just
Only bigger numbers.
it's going to be the same process. You might have to move some more things.
Alright. Yeah.
Okay, you want to do one on your own?
Yes. I want to do it on my own.
On your own.
Please.
On to my homework.
Okay, so
So we put like a billion numbers in there.
make it hard as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
I don't-
She's going to start to add fractions.
This one's gonna be-
So y equals 2x minus 2x squared minus 6x minus 8 and 2x minus y equals 16. And it doesn't matter which one is on in the first equation, the linear or the quadratic. They just had all the examples where the quadratic was first. Ainsley, okay?
Miss Mick, you want to know what happened today?
Does the world want to know what's happening? Can you wait? After this is done, you can tell me. You guys ready for me to start working?
No.
Yes.
Just start. You don't have to look up.
Oh, okay. You're right.
I'm looking at the problem that you did before
Uh-huh.
to help me guide myself through it.
Same.
That's
I'm
what
lost.
I did for
Okay.
everything.
I got somewhere now. I'm lost.
I'm just.
You're waiting.
I'm like, know what I'm doing, but.
Okay, you're cool.
Oh crap.
Stop.
I gotta restart the whole problem now.
Let's go right there.
No, this is where I got stuck.
And that's why I don't do factoring.
The factors of 4 that add to 4 are pretty easy. 2 and 2.
But I don't do factoring. I don't like it. It makes my life difficult.
Oh, Alexa. Oh. 4.
Okay, why were you guys getting stuck?
Because I put a 2 instead of a 4, like x squared minus 4x, and I put plus 2 instead of plus 4.
Because you were in your brain.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Miss Mick.
I don't
That's
know
where I
what
got
to do
stuck.
after I get to 2x squared minus 8x plus 8 equals 0. I don't know what to do after that.
Once it's equal to 0, you factor. Factor a quadratic formula. And 2, 8, and 8 all have a 2 in common, so I factored it out to make my number smaller. Cadence, what did you need?
I got plus or minus 2.
You shouldn't get plus or minus 2 because since it's positive here, they both should be negative. Because plus or minus 2, if you had plus or minus 2, it would be x squared minus 4. That factors to x plus 2 and x minus 2. Do you guys need one more?
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
Just
No.
one
I lost. Oh, because you.
What's your answer?
Right here.
Oh,
Never
where'd you
mind.
get 12 from?
You plug the 2.
Can we have another one, Miss Mick?
Yep, I got one more.
Wait, can you plug into the top one?
Well, you could, but you want to do that?
I'm just
That's
wondering.
the quadratic equation.
This one's already solved for y, so I just plugged it right in there.
Miss Mick, I think I already have this down.
Good. Okay,
Not that hard.
so let's see if we can not get stuck this time.
It's just making stupid mistakes.
We'll stop that.
Much.
I make you close.
May not be
Hey,
stupid.
that's rude.
And
What happened to
Thanks,
saying
I
it out
guess.
loud?
Huh? I'm sorry. Y equals negative, sometimes I mess them up. Y equals negative 3x squared plus x plus 4. And 4x minus y equals 2. 2.
Miss Mick, can you have a negative for your A?
I would factor it out.
Okay. I was like, you've never.
Or I would have just moved everything to the right.
Oh, that's a smarter idea. Okay. Okay.
How did you get a positive 4? I got a negative.
Here,
Yeah.
I added my y and subtracted my 2.
That's what I did.
Same, but I never mind. I don't know.
If you didn't move the 4, you shouldn't have changed the sign.
How do you get 3x?
Because you take the 3 out. Wait.
Okay, I'm doing something wrong.
Okay. She's
'Cause
taking
I'm-
everything from the left to the right. She wants to factor her negative out.
I don't want a negative leading coefficient.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's where.
But you should have negative. If you went the other way, you would have negative 3x, but then you'd have to factor out a negative 3 instead of just
I
a
did
3.
something wrong.
That's
there
what I
because
did.
got a
If you want to factor out a negative 3, that's fine, but you just got to do it right. Sometimes
Yeah.
people forget to do it out of everything.
I think I did it fine. I got it.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Questions, guys? I personally like to have that x squared term positive, so I took it to the right, but I wrote it on the left. Does that matter? No.
I wish I could just do factoring the whole year. I would.
You will continue to factor the whole year, so you will get your wish.